Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Inside Battlefield. My name is Tom, Community Manager for Battlefield, and tomorrow the Season 6 limited time event Dark Protocol starts at 12 UTC. Today we'll chat more with our team about its design and gameplay. The trailer for the event is out right now and available on our YouTube channel. We've also released a blog with an overview of the event and its rewards, and we encourage you to check them out. Now let's go over to my guests for today. With me are Raunaq and Martin. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Tom. Thanks.
How's it going?
Excited to be here and really excited for the event to go out tomorrow.
Yes, looking forward to it. It's been a while in the making, and tomorrow is finally the day of Dark Protocol.
Oh. And Killswitch.
Which we will talk about more today. For folks listening who do not know you, could you please start with a quick introduction of who you are and what you do at DICE?
All right, perfect. Hi, I am Raunaq, one of the game designers working at DICE. I specifically work in the game modes team. So when we talk about Killswitch, I am the designer that worked on that with Martin, who is next.
Yeah, I'm Martin. I'm a design director on 2042, primarily working with maps and modes. So yeah, was involved in this as well together with Raunaq.
Awesome. And we've had both of you on the podcast already and on stream. Mm-hmm. So folks may have seen or heard you before. So as I mentioned earlier, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are you ready to talk Dark Protocol and Killswitch?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Before we do, the reception for Season 6 has been extremely positive, I would say. We've seen a lot of new players join us. So for folks who just tuned in, started playing with Season 6, welcome. We hope you're having fun. Glad you're listening. But I want to hear from the team as well. How has that positive reception been for us?
Amazing. I mean, we get so much energy from seeing this, and yeah, we just get more motivated by such a great reception.
As a game designer, I love to see numbers going up. So that one's great. I've been having a lot of fun over the weekend with that. And that also means this is going to be a lot of players' first teamed event and limited time game mode. So that's going to be cool to see too. And I think it's a doozy.
Yeah, it's a cool one to come into, I would say. For sure. I think we did something very special with Season 6, the theme of Season 6, and also Dark Protocol. But let's just dive into it. Martin, can you start with a brief overview of the event itself?
Yes, so in this event, you'll get to see more of what's actually been going on in the facility that you've seen in Redacted. So the Boreas facility there has been breached, and the AOS, artificial intelligence that runs the center has hacked communication centers around the world. And in this event, you'll play as the Ascension company, and your mission is to shut down these nodes. But there's a twist as well. There's also these forges in the maps that produce Geists, which are artificial soldiers, synthetic soldiers, that will chase after the enemy team, basically. So they're like a secondary objective to this mode.
And they are pretty scary.
Yes.
And the event runs from when to when?
Yeah, October 31st until November 14th.
Awesome. And I think worth mentioning as well, if you own Battlefield 2042, the event is available to play for everyone. You don't need to purchase a battle pass or anything to join. Obviously, in the event itself, new limited time game mode, Killswitch, which Raunaq designed and can talk more about. And we have the nice little twist to that game mode as well with Geists. And there are new earnable and store rewards, just like you're used to from previous events. So if you play the themed event game mode, Killswitch, you can earn ribbons. And with those ribbons, you can earn those rewards. And during the weeks itself, the bundles are available on the store as well. So if that's something you enjoy, go check them out. They're a pretty cool theme this time around. Like the entire theme around Dark Protocol and Season 6 is pretty awesome in my opinion. Very cool theme. So looking forward to seeing that on players as well.
Yeah, the Ascension company cosmetics they're really unique.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying seeing them have that shared team between the characters when you pull up with a squad that's all looking like they belong to the Ascension company and you're playing inside Redacted. Great stuff. What a time.
Definitely.
Straight out of a movie.
Yeah, totally.
Very cool. Raunaq, you are thrilled to talk about Killswitch, so let's do it.
I have been. I can't stop talking about Killswitch. So Killswitch as a game mode, of course, is an objective capture mode. We play Killswitch on one objective at a time that is active, capturable. Once captured, the game moves to a new objective. So the rules are pretty simple on that front. The first team to capture 5 objectives wins. So it's a race against time to be first. The playing field resets, of course, every time you capture an objective, and then you have to run over to the next one. We add a few complications while you're playing. The first and most important one, of course, comes in the form of the Forge. So the Forge is a printing device that is placed in each level that creates a number of synthetic soldiers that we call Geists. And our twist in the tale, of course, is that the Geists belong to the team that controls the Forge. So not only are you splitting focus, all 12 players on your team, so it's a 12v12 game mode, of course, you're switching focus between capturing the objective and also holding down the Forge. What happens if you don't hold down the Forge, of course, is pain. You will receive every 15 seconds right now, but of course everything is subject to change, a wave of Geists who try to locate you, and when they see you, they will hunt you down. In our design, the Geists are somewhat incomplete as they are. You'll see it visually. It's coded into how they function as well. And they come at you primarily with melee weapons. So they will shake things up quite a bit. Like I said earlier, there's only one objective at a time. So the Geists have a great synergy with how that works, because they try to crowd the objective, pushing everybody who's in there out. And if you're already in there, they'll help you secure the space. And that kind of becomes the interplay between the Forge and the game objective. Internally, when we're playing Killswitch, we see a lot of people drive straight to the Forge and start spawning in Geists, and then use that to play the next objective. I think that is the summary, the opening summary of this. And I am really excited to see how people start using the Geists as a resource and a tool that we haven't really created before to manipulate other players and how they try to win. I'm
personally very curious. The first time players see the Geist running at them, what they will think. They will probably be like, "Oh, what the hell?" moment.
Absolutely.
See those synthetic soldiers with knives running at you. Pretty scary.
Yeah, for sure. I think the best moment is gonna be when you don't expect to be executed by one of them, because they do execute you. If you're not looking at them, they play out a full animation.
So they use knives only, but they
use powerful hammers and a few other weapons.
Okay. Something to look out for.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want to fall prey to the Geist. That's the gist of it.
No.
Okay. And Killswitch is, as you mentioned, played as 12 versus 12 across which maps?
That is correct. We are going to be playing on Spearhead, Hourglass, Redacted,
and
Manifest. There we go.
Awesome. And the objective you mentioned, that's the AOS node?
That's correct.
That is
we call
objective.
It a node. We call it a node and not a flag also because there is a little difference in how the capture mechanic works. Yep. Because we want players to focus on the Forge as their secondary objective, we decided to simplify how the capture works as well. So instead of having a capturing and neutralizing and decapturing state on the flag, the AOS node can just be captured by holding majority at the point. You start making progress. If you leave the point, you stop making progress, but your progress is retained. So you can imagine yourself seeing 2 progress bars, and each team is just trying their best to fill up their progress bar faster, which fills up in 90 seconds. There are no capture speed multipliers. You have to hold it for a potentially interrupted 90 seconds. It's fine. You don't lose progress either.
Okay.
So that race against time that I was talking about before also fits into how the objective is captured.
Yeah. While at the meantime, depending on which team you are, you may have guys helping you or
hurting
at
you quite a bit.
Or hurting you quite a bit.
We could mention as well that the guys don't actually contribute to capturing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So they contribute by hopefully killing your enemies in the capture area.
Yeah. And because the Forge is also like a physical object in the world, that means the guys have to find their way to you.
Okay.
And they can enter combat anywhere between the Forge and the objective. So you can use them as a tool to stop enemies from getting to the objective, or you can use it to ambush an objective that has been taken by the enemy too.
And the Forge itself spawns randomly as well, or that's also on a fixed location?
There is a fixed location per map. So there is one Forge per layout.
So I guess a tip is like learn the layout as soon as possible, because the Forge is key to victory here.
I would say control the Forge as soon as possible.
Okay. Awesome. Then I would love to talk a little bit about the design, and then afterwards maybe we can talk about the some more tips for playing Killswitch. The design process for Dark Protocol and Killswitch, I guess the event. Let's Martin start with you. How did this event come together? It's very Halloween themed, so I think we're putting it out at the right time.
Yeah, so when we saw that Season 6 would align with Halloween, we saw it as a great opportunity to explore fear in 2042 and what that would look like. And that took us quickly into artificial intelligence and the future of warfare, which of course led to the design for Redacted being the facility where this kind of forbidden research has happened. And of course, then we wanted to feature that in an event or in the event to see more of that and to feature artificial intelligence type enemy. So that was really kind of the high level framework. But what you do with that, that's where Raunaq came in.
And I think the narrative themes throughout the entirety of Season 6 are very strong this time around. Like with the map, the mode, Killswitch itself, it's also all themed around fear, this hidden facility. I think it works together quite well.
Yep.
So again, I'm actually super excited for the event going live tomorrow, for everybody to just experience it themselves. So then, Raunaq, the experimentation we did with other limited time modes, like how did it go for Killswitch this time around? Because we've learned quite a bit over the past four seasons that we did other events.
I think we have definitely gotten more and more experimental, I want to say, especially in our alternate seasons. The last one I was here to talk about was Shutdown, which was a little bit more of an experimental rule set as well. I think the cool thing about having Martin and also our other creative director, Manuel, on the team is they were very committed to this theme of fear. And we got to play around with a mode that is about that first. So all of our experimentation kind of leaned into that in the beginning. And then we start coming back into, all right, this has to feel perfect for Battlefield as well. So we have to start incorporating Battlefield DNA back into this idea of fear. And we started discussing what that fear could look like in a game where you are playing PvP primarily. And I think that Martin's experience with AI, which I would love to hear him talk about, by the way, later, was, I think, quite a game changer, because we started out with a relatively standard idea of having the guys just be one team on their own. So they're just environmental ambient enemies. But as we kept working with it, the guys, I think, now are a much cooler idea, as in they're a resource that you fight over, and one team actually controls them. So think about playing a horde mode where you have control over the horde. And I think that's some really exciting stuff, especially one that changes the playing field so drastically.
Yeah, so I mean, they're based on the same AI technology that we use for the other bots in the game, but completely different behavior, which I think says a lot about how powerful, I would say, the setup of the AI is. There's a lot that can be done by a mere designer like myself. That's not an engineer. And they're melee focused, so they're primarily, as we talked about, using different kinds of melee weapons. Bit like fast zombies that's running after you. We actually
sorry to cut you off for 1 second. Shout out to all the players on social who thought it was going to be zombies. It's not zombies.
It's not zombies.
It's not zombies. But yeah, we saw a lot of folks guessing, so it was fun to see them.
It's been really fun reading people's speculation about what it's going to be. But we actually started with them wielding firearms. That's what we thought would be the best thing. But and that could have probably been made to work if we just spent more time on it. But I think what happened was that they kind of blended in too much with the regular players.
Absolutely.
So it became more interesting when they are a very much more distinct type of enemy. And of course, now you need to worry about them primarily when they get close to you or if they're in large numbers. So interesting kind of strategies, how you have to divide between focusing on players and the Geists.
How easy is it to take down one of those Geists, by the way? Are they like quite tough or?
Easier now than they used to be, based on playtest feedback. I think we can dedicate like a bit of time to talking about the iterations that they've gone through, because they started very different. They've been through a lot of different identities, and now they've ended up being what they are and what you see in the trailer. And I think that's the best for the game. But it's also interesting to think about where we started with the Geist themselves. Like I was very committed to this idea of the Geist needs to be a sort of futuristic solo or maybe like a duo trio threat. And I think we were all very interested in pushing something like that. And they started out with a railgun. So they started out with a handheld gun, and I loved that thing because it makes a sound before it fires. It goes like pew, pew, and
scary as well.
Yeah, exactly. And like you can anticipate being shot by it. Except it did enough damage that they were good enough with aiming that they popped you right away.
Oh, okay.
And then like making them slightly less accurate or maybe a little bit easier to kill kind of took away that threat.
Yeah.
Because once you hear the gun loading up and then they fire and then they miss you, it looks quite sad. It takes away that fear a little bit. It makes them more tangible, more human, in that they're prone to error. So that was a little less cool. Then I think we jumped to retaining the idea that it should be firearms like Martin was talking about, and we gave them LMGs. So they did miss more, but there was like a barrage of fire around you all the time. So the bullets that miss still look cool because it looks like there's this thing that's walking after you. They didn't even run at first. So they only walked.
It makes it a bit scarier if they just casually walk behind you.
Yeah,
it does. Of guys, yeah.
It does, but when you put them around players, they start to feel really... They feel way less scary because we have to think about the PvP element, right? And that's what we really want to focus in on. I think nothing is scarier than the other player.
Yep.
And I think the fact that we have the ability to allow players to use their intelligence and creativity and how to use the Geists, I think is what's more scary than just the Geists alone.
Yep.
The interplay and the synergy between the two is what I've been having the most fun with. So we got rid of that LMG as well because it was... If it saw you, you died fast enough. And it became more and more frustrating over time. And I think something that we want to incite fear, it means it should be in your visual cone for a little bit longer. It should be something that you, once you notice it, it doesn't give away everything. It doesn't give away its whole game plan. But it's also present in your attention to create that sense of tension and fear. But what generally happened was that they kind of rounded a corner and they were mowing down your friends. So while they were busy, you could do something else on the side. And maybe we like experiment with that to find a firearm, health, movement, speed combo that we think is perfect. But yeah, they really lost their sense of identity over time. And then they, like Martin was saying, they blend in with the soldiers on the battlefield. So you can't really use them for tactics. You just play with them in the same play space as you know. But then this thing that they have now, the behavior that they have now, I think is very interesting because the number of times I've seen like a wave of them come in, like a wave right now is 9 Geists, and there will be players who flank around them. So your team is going to be focused on completely backs to the wall, defending against guys who are coming into the objective, and players are ziplining around and they're stealthily sneaking up while you're distracted. I think that sort of game plan is a lot of fun to watch. And because the Geists are, like I said, numbers going up, feels great. You can kind of make more and more waves if you keep controlling the forge. So you divide the attention of the enemy team, you can really catch them off guard and start a snowball for your team.
How often do they spawn again?
Right now it's 15 seconds.
Every 15 seconds.
Yes.
So up to 9 or 9 every 15?
So 9 every 15 seconds up until they reach the limit. Let's see if players find what the limit of Geists in a game is. But at that point, of course, they stop creating more.
Yeah, and also, sorry, when an objective gets captured, we wipe the guys that are alive, so we kind of reset the playing field.
Start building them.
Yeah.
Okay.
The eponymous Killswitch is actually when, that's the command in the console, that's what we call it, is when an objective is taken. Like I was saying before, we want to level the playing field and start the round all over again almost. So you capture the objective, the node itself kills every single Geist in the level around you. So even if the enemy had like a horde of 30, now they have to go back and start creating another one, or you can try taking the forge itself.
Okay.
So any snowball is actually a minor event on that objective specifically, and then you get to try again the next time. So it becomes a fair game up until one team wins. And I think that's a lot of fun to see as well, because you get to adapt all the way from the start every objective.
And as you mentioned, so that's where the name Killswitch came from as well. Okay, that's good to know. We probably talked about it already, but any other fun or memorable moments throughout the design process leading up to the release of Dark Protocol? Like you already mentioned a few, but I'm curious if you have any other bits that stand out.
Trying to remember.
I think Martin, this one came out of a conversation between me and you, but the moment we figured out that they should be melee enemies and they should like chase after the player, the first thing that a player is going to try to do is jump off the nav mesh. The nav mesh is what any AI in the game uses to pathfind, of course. Okay. So if you jump off the nav mesh, or if you're in a place that the Geists can't reach, say you're playing McKay or Sundance and you have movement capabilities to kind of get off the path, we decided there absolutely needed to be a way for the guys to deal with you, because then you kind of make them look silly when they can't reach you at all. So I think we have a pretty cool tool that we gave them that maybe, Martin, you want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So if they can't reach you, if they fail to pathfind to a target, then they're allowed to throw incendiary grenades at that target. So it's like Raunaq said, it's a kind of anti-camping behavior from the guys.
You are not safe.
No.
Yeah. So that's something to worry about as well.
Okay.
But, so it's about kind of I think you have to manage the guys since they're dangerous up close. But there's also a lot of jump scares happening if you run around the corner and you see a horde of them just a few meters away. That's really cool.
It's going to lead to some very fun gameplay moments, and I'm looking forward to seeing the footage from players as well. So record some scares and
absolutely. Yeah. They have one more tool to deal with vehicles as well, which hopefully people see more rarely. But we have that as well.
Exactly. Yeah, they can also use the Carl Gustav recoilless rifle against vehicles. So.
That's a rocket launcher to the uninitiated.
Right. And we should probably add as well that this is primarily an infantry-focused experience. We have transport vehicles in some maps, but no combat vehicles.
Yeah, and obviously on Redacted, no vehicles.
No vehicles at all. I think the Redacted layout is my favorite layout, and I think it's with reason that the community is enjoying that map so much as well. It's such a flavor. And I think Killswitch, when we play Killswitch on that map, also has such a flavor to it. It's very exciting. Like I don't notice the lack of vehicles at all. To me, that infantry-focused play space is
you're very, very busy. It's very chaotic. Like you have a lot of stuff to do.
Absolutely. And the same for Killswitch. Like you will be busy thinking about things more pressing than vehicles in this game mode.
Awesome. Then we also mentioned some already, but some tips for playing Killswitch. So it's a limited time mode. It's something new that we haven't seen before. So, what are some recommendations you have for players to look out for to help them claim the victory, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can start with a couple of them. So control the forge, please. It's very important to know the value of the Geists, and sometimes it is what leads to the comeback in the game. We have occasionally seen games that snowball, and then we occasionally see games that are very neck and neck. And I think it always comes down to who's able to exert more control over the forge. It's easy to, like, we say PTFO all the time, and now suddenly we have two objectives, and it's easy to get your attention divided a little bit too much between what you can do. So for that reason, Killswitch layouts are smaller. They're a little more claustrophobic, but it's important to remember that jumping between the objective and the forge is the way to play. They exist for a reason. So that would be like point number one. And sometimes it's okay to let one objective go, let the enemy score 1 point so that you can score a better defensive position close to the forge for the next one.
Yeah, so related to that, I imagine we're going to see a lot of players putting down like traps around the forge, like try to do ambushes around them, since it's going to be this honeypot, basically. So
And remembering that the timer is 90 seconds, and it's okay for the timer to be interrupted, which means even if the enemy is at like almost 90% capture, it's fine. You can still jump in and take your flag, or your AOS node, as we call it now, for this game mode. I think it's also important to keep in mind that the Geists themselves they are part of your game plan.
Yep.
Because they don't contribute to the objective. They don't have a game plan other than just killing the enemy team. So it can be to your advantage to learn how they move around the level, how they navigate, where they try to go, and hide. For example, sometimes when they're running, they will run as a group often. And it's cool to just be part of the group, run into the objective, and while the enemies are busy focused on somebody else, you just take them out one by one. It's also helpful when you, as a new player, maybe you don't have a squad that's preformed. You will see that the guys can be a fun set of teammates to interact with. Of course, also equally unfun when they belong to the enemy team, but hopefully in a good way.
A violent set of teammates.
Yes, absolutely.
But fun.
Very bloodthirsty. Good KD on Geists across our playtests, I want to say.
So watch out for them, folks.
Absolutely.
They're coming for you. Cool. So I think, that was a nice overview of the event itself, a little bit about the design of Killswitch, where we came from in terms of like themes with Dark Protocol. Some tips. Is there anything else you want to mention around Dark Protocol or Killswitch itself?
Let me think about it. Listen to their voice lines. I think they have cool voice lines. The Geists. They have a few weapons and maybe a couple, or maybe at least one weapon that has a rare chance of spawning. I think that's a cool one. I would love to see a video of somebody getting taken out by that rare weapon, just to see what the reaction is like. Excited about that. The rewards, super cool. Play for ribbons, play with your teammates, play with your squad, and just have fun.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of tactics that emerge around the Geists. This is obviously something very different, so will be super interesting to see how players respond to it. If players want more like this. It feels like it's, like you said before, it's really much more of a story that we're telling in this season. So it's going to be interesting to see how players kind of piece together things and think about how Killswitch fits into the overall narrative.
Awesome. You already mentioned the rewards, so folks, just keep an eye out for those. There's different gameplay rewards for week 1 and week 2. So if you want to get all of them just by playing, earning them through gameplay, just make sure to check back every week. I brought some cookies for today as well.
Let's go.
Let's continue the tradition.
These were actually prepared yesterday already. If I can open the bag.
Homemade cookies?
Riveting content.
They're not homemade, but they are some of my personal favorites. I actually don't know what they are, so...
Wait, which one do I pick? They're different.
But they all taste the same.
Okay, all right. I'll take this one then.
Oh, you picked the heart.
Oh yeah, it is. It is heart shaped.
Thank you.
So, I guess these are... I think for me, I grew up with these as kind of Christmas cookies. So, chocolate layer. Is it ginger spice-ish on the inside?
Yeah.
I think most folks probably know this as Christmas cookies. I don't know what they're called. But
I should probably stay away from the mic a little bit, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to lean away.
Yeah, it does have those Christmassy spices.
Indeed. Mine is star-shaped, also feels Christmassy.
Yeah.
Very good. I like that.
We did have some comments. Like, some people like cookie of the week. Other people tune out when we start eating. They're like, come on. So sorry, folks. Mute us for a bit before we're back and close down the episode.
Yeah, or think about questions to ask that we can eventually answer maybe on a different forum.
We are also live streaming soon. Tomorrow, actually, by the time you listen to this.
Yes.
And it's actually all of us again. So if you heard us talk about this, you'll see us talk about it tomorrow by the time you listen to us.
Yeah,
so if you have some questions, send them in to us, and maybe we can answer them in the live stream.
Yeah, last time we had some players who managed to join our server while we were live streaming. And they were great. It was a good time. It was myself on stream, Rachel,
and me,
who was playing. Of course, and Martin. But no Geists. This time there's going to be Geists on.
No Geist. This time it will be a bit scarier.
Yeah.
How do we rate the cookie?
7 out of 10 for me. It's a good one. Like it.
Yeah, I rated 3.5 Geist heads out of a total of 5.
Out of 5. Okay. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I think this is one of my favorites.
Completely biased review.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Because I took them. So folks, that's all we have for you today. Raunaq and Martin, thank you for joining me again. It was fun to talk Killswitch, Dark Protocol, even more fun to eat some cookies. Folks, please join us tomorrow for the live stream. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll try to answer them. Any final shout outs from you, Raunaq, Martin, for the players? Anything you want to say?
No, nothing more to add.
He's looking so satisfied with his cookie. Yeah. Just go play the event, check it out tomorrow on the live. Okay, cool. Folks, thank you for joining. We'll be back with more podcast episodes. But in the meantime, get in touch with us at #InsideBattlefield on socials or podcast@battlefield.com. So if you have those questions, send them in. And then from all of us here at our Battlefield studios, stay classy and PTFO.
See you on the battlefield.
See ya.
Bye.